Hello mga buddy and sis, it's me RJ from 3CRI A2-4, a third year criminology of Pinma Arroyo University. For today's video, I am going to discuss casting and molding. At the end of this lesson, the student should be able to explain what is casting and molding and familiarize themselves to footwear and tire marks. So, let's start. First, let us know what is the difference between impression evidence, casting, and molding. Impression evidence, it's simply where several objects are pressed against one another and it allows object to transfer or retain characteristic from one another. For example, yung footwear, tire marks, and tool marks may be some overlooked types of physical evidence na naiwan sa crime scene. Next, casting. Casting, it allows crime scene investigator to collect an identical copy of a mark from a scene, which it can be compared to sealed tool, shoe, or tire in order to establish a link between a suspect and in a crime scene. Molding. Molding, ito ang tawag sa process of making mold. Mold, ito naman yung impression sa isang object. Mold is used to capture, enter detail bago impression sa isang object. Bago gawin yung casting. Pwede siyang maging natural or synthetic. So, punta naman tayo sa 3 types of prints. May 3 types of prints which are patent or visible prints, plastic prints, and latent print. First, punta muna tayo sa visible print. Visible print, ito yung type of print na transferred from one side from shoe or tire into a surface. It can be seen by our naked eyes. For example, yung bloody shoe print na naiwan sa floor or tire or tracks left by a muddy tires on a driveway. Next, plastic print. Ito naman is a 3-dimensional impression na naiwan sa soft surface. Means merong height, width, and length. For example, shoe or tire tracks na na-left in a sand, mud, or snow. And last, yung latent prints. Kung yung visible print can be seen by our naked eye, ito naman is not readily visible by naked eye. Yung mga examiner or investigator is kinakailangan nila gumamit ng powders, chemical, or alternative light source para maging visible yung prints. So, punta naman tayo sa collection of impression or print. Sabi dito, examiner use several methods for collecting footwear and tire track evidence depending on the type of impression. For impression of soil, for impression, soil, snow, or other soft surface casting yung most commonly used na method. For imprints naman, examiners generally try to collect the entire object containing the imprint. Tulad na lang ng shoe print and tire tracks. Kinakailangan na it is properly documented, collected, and preserved in order to maintain the integrity of the evidence. For impression evidence naman, it is easily damaged, and it includes securing and documenting the scene prior to the collecting any evidence. Sa case of impression evidence, kinakailangan na yung general view of a location is na photograph in relation to the rest of the scene are taken. Tapos, kailangan with high resolution yung image of the individual imprints or impression. The examiners may use alternative light source or chemical enhancer to capture as much detail as possible, especially sa latent imprints. And then, yung properly photographing impression is crucial, lalo na sa shoe print. Kasi, konti lang difference between sa sizes ng sapatos. If yung photographer if yung photograph is not taken at 90-degree angle, to the impression, yung true size is cannot be produced in order to compare to the actual shoe. If possible, impression evidence is collected and submitted to the laboratory for examination. For shoe print naman and tire tracks that cannot be picked up, diyan na papasok yung lifting techniques used to recover the evidence. Kasama dyan yung adhesive lifter, gelatin lifter, and electro-dust print lifting device. Yung adhesive lifter, it is usually used in conjunction with fingerprint powders. Yung gelatin filter naman, it is less tacky and more flexible than adhesive filter. It allows to pick up any dust shoe print on a cardboard box. And last, yung electro-dust print lifting device. Etong method naman is yung the best for collecting dry or dusty residue impression on almost any surface, even sa skin of a cadaver. Plastic or three-dimensional footwear or tire impressions can be collected by casting. Casting, ito yung ginagamitan ng uses a powder or stone material. For imprint and impression naman, it enables lifted or casted evidence to be photographed or scanned. So, let's proceed to casting and molding procedures. These are the steps of casting and molding. First, prepare the area for casting. Carefully brush away any small stone or loose soil from around the edge of the area to be cast. The next one is mix the plaster of Paris. Pour two parts of plaster mixed to 1 part into a plastic bag. The third one is pour the plaster of Paris into the impression. This procedure allows the plaster of Paris to be poured out easily. Pour the casting material from the one end to or side the impression and allow it to flow along the impression. Try to avoid pouring it directly into the middle of the impression. The fifth procedure is lift the cast out. This procedure allows to fully dry before lifting. The next one is clean the cast. Allows to remove cast to dry overnight before attempting to remove any soil adhering to the bottom of the case. Seventh procedure is it allows it to dry overnight once the cast has been cleaned. And last, stored and transport the cast. Wrap the cast into a newspaper to prevent it being damaged. So, let us go to the last part, which is the types of tire marks and footprints, and how these marks and prints help in accidental and criminal investigation. First, let us know what is tire marks. Tire marks is a general class of marks left by a tire, whether rolling or wired. Therefore, there are types of tire marks associated with the traffic investigation. First, scuff. Scuff, it is made by rotating vehicle acceleration or flat tire. Yaw mark, it is referred to the slide shift or critical speed. Skid marks, ito naman yung lock wheel caused by the application of brakes. Prints, ito naman yung made by a rolling car. And last, yung scrub mark. Scrub mark, ito naman yung wheel lock due to the damage. And last, let us proceed to footwear prints. It leaves marks and impression through direct or physical contact or on the surface over which it tracks. It is remarkably durable and contains sufficient detail for meaningful forensic examination. It is the most valuable as forensic evidence, and it provides valuable information to the scene of the crime officer investigator, and it includes number of suspect, involvement in crime, slide type and size, and it can also reveal point of entry and exit leading to the evidence. Let us go to how these marks and prints help in criminal and in accidental and criminal investigation. Proper identification of it is important part of accident investigation. It tells the private investigator for what driver did or attempt to do. Point of the impact or area of the impact can also be determined. That is extremely important to traffic accident investigators. And last, the role of forensic footwear examiner is to determine whether a particular item of footwear did or did not cause the mark or impression recovered from the crime scene. If necessary, the examiner will offer this evidence and opinion in a court proceedings. That's all for today mga buddy and sis. I hope you learned something from my video presentation entitled as Casting and Molding. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and click the notification bell for more info. See you soon.